Welcome to Spilling the Tea.
Good morning,
good morning, good day.
Good morning. How are you?
Awesome. We are blessed. We're well.
Good. I know this. I'm not even going to ask you, do you normally get up this early on a Saturday?
As parents, we're forced to kind of get up this early. Even if we don't want to get up this early. We've got children that are vehement that they want to make us wake up early in the morning. So yes, we generally do.
How old are your kids? What age do they range from?
Our oldest is 8 years old. Then we have a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and one on the way.
Right. You both had an amazing story to tell. Yeah. From being teachers to turning your lives into property investors. But before you walk us through your journey, first, Robbi, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? You know, like where you grew up, went to school, that kind of thing.
Okay, sure. So my name is Robbi ICanWin. I grew up in East London, was born and raised in Stratford, and I went to school. I don't know if I want to share where I went to school.
Are you ashamed?
It's embarrassing. Okay, I went to a school called Stratford School. That was my secondary school.
Hold on. You went to Stratford School?
I did.
So did I.
Did you?
Yes, I
Don't
did.
Tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone.
Listen, that was many moons ago. That was when Stratford School was a good school back then.
Oh no! Oh,
I don't know about now.
Yeah, it wasn't when I went. Yeah.
Was that the purple uniform days?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, you see, purple uniform. That was it all over, mate.
So I went to Stratford School when it was in Forest Gate, because I know originally it was in Stratford, but yeah, I went to school in Forest Gate.
Upton Lane?
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
It was always in Upton Lane.
Oh, really? I got told it used to be in Stratford, hence why it was called Stratford or something like that. But yeah, I went to Stratford School. I went to sixth form in St Angela's and St Bond's sixth form, and then later on went to university in Hertfordshire. I studied psychology and decided I wanted to be a teacher. I said from young I wanted to be a teacher, but decided once I studied my psychology degree that I wanted to be a teacher. And it was actually interesting how that happened, is because my experience in Stratford School scarred me. I was like, I'm going to be the best teacher ever so that no child has to ever deal with what I dealt with. Oh, wow. And that's what spurred it on, actually. But yes, right now I am 33 years old, mother of 5, 4 outside of the womb, 1 inside of the womb. And I homeschool our children and have been homeschooling for about 6 years. Prior to that, I was a teacher in a primary school, or in several primary schools. And now I'm also a coach with my husband.
Fantastic. Samuel, same question to you.
Wow. Well, where do we start? Juliet, I grew up also in East London, born in London, raised by predominantly both my mum and my dad until I was 6 years old. At the age of 6, my dad and mum decided to get divorced. And after they got divorced, my mum and dad were quite interesting that they saw all of myself and my siblings as quite mature. So they asked us one day, they said, look, we're not going to have a judge, a stranger, separate our children and our family. So we're going to ask you, who do you want to live with? And, you know, I'm one of 4 boys. So me and my older brother, being the older boys, thinking macho, we said, we're going to go live with mum. We're going to go make sure that mum's got some male, you know, presence in the house. And we went to live with our mum, and my 2 younger brothers went to live with my dad. And we made that decision. So I started to go to, you know, primary school, then secondary school. I moved to primary school as a result, started to go to secondary school. And, you know, secondary school is interesting for me. There was a lot of hardship, particularly in the sense that my mum, soon after having a divorce, she was made redundant. I was around 11 years old then, and she had worked for a bank in central London for 15 years, even before I was born. And she was made redundant one day. You know, one day she came home and just said, you know what, she lost her job. They decided that her name was one of the names on the sheet of paper. And following that, she went through a series of mental health issues where effectively throughout my summer holidays, I'd come home from school and watch, the police, watch ambulances take my mum away. And I'd spend literally like maybe 3/4 of that academic year with no mum at home, literally going to school, acting as though,
everything was all right.
Everything was cool. I kind of lived a double life from around the age of 11 because of the fact that, nobody knew besides my dad, besides, my mum's siblings, nobody really knew what was going on in my house. And as a result, me and my older brother were effectively living as adults from as early as 11, 12 years old, on our own, managing the house, and then in the daytime going to school. So those kind of experiences really kind of hit me hard as a young man, helped me realize, aspects of property. I watched my mum try to sell her house with speed because of the redundancy. But at the same time, I really saw how finances made a real big difference to human beings from a very, very early age. So as a result, I kind of got older, got into a lot of crime, saying to myself, maybe this is the way, because obviously my mum had a normal job, which is what they were telling us to do, and it didn't work. So I did the maths, and that made me realize that maybe there's another path, and I definitely chose the wrong path. But 18, 19 years old, I decided to change. I decided that, that wasn't the path for me. I was blessed with a high level of intelligence and knew I could turn things around. So my older brother says to me one day, hey, we're going back to school. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I said to him, look, I make more money committing crime than some people who go to work all year round. Why am I going back to school? And, coming from an African culture, they say you don't have to ask me twice. He said a second time, we're going back to school, and I knew what would happen if I spoke back. So I decided to go back to college, forcefully anyway, at the age of 19, when access to university course. And by the end of that year, my whole life literally changed. The way I say it to people is God literally kidnapped me that year, because that year I gave up smoking, gave up drinking, gave up, the wrong relationships, gave up every single thing that I was doing that was a distraction to me. And I finished that academic year, and I was told that I had the highest academic grades across every single access course in that college.
Fantastic.
And that was a wake-up call for me, because it helped me, it validated something that I had believed myself, which was that I did have the intelligence. And I think sometimes in our communities, we just don't tell each other enough how good we're doing. And that then helped me to get into university. I then studied my first degree, went on to study my second degree. After my second degree, I realized that I wanted to give back. I wanted to help people that were going through what I was going through growing up. So I decided I wanted to be a teacher. I then did my teacher training qualification, which was my third degree. And then after qualifying and becoming a teacher, I then studied my fourth degree, which was a master's in teaching, before leaving teaching. And now I help part-time property people create considerable cash flow using resources and revenues that are hidden in there, right in front of them, in plain sight.